Hello, Floss Dude. This is Carol Lee from Stitching is Elementary. I was getting ready to lace this piece, so I thought I would do a quick video showing you how I lace because I've had people asking. So anyway, so we're going to try this. This is like my third try. I practiced a couple times. So I practiced on here. And that video wasn't too bad, but you couldn't see everything real well. So we're going to try again. All right, so I had watched a video from a guy who does this, I think, for a living in England. His name was John. But anyway, he used, and also I've watched Lori Holt's video, which was great, but I'll get to the part that I liked about the other video better that really helped me. So they both use crochet thread. So just a, thing of crochet thread, which is great because it does not break at all. So before I used heavy duty thread, and it still would get tangled more, I don't know, and it would break sometimes. So this works really, really well. So when Lori Holt did her video though, she cut a piece of of crochet thread. And I would just get that, I don't know, I was just struggling with that. I would get it tangled, and then to have to add more and knot it, the knots I was having problems with. So anyway, it just wasn't working well for me. So I thought there must be a way to do it not cutting it, and that's what he did. He puts it in like a bowl, and then he just keeps pulling from it, and he doesn't cut it until the end when he knots. So that's what I'm going to do. So you're going to need your crochet thread, you're going to need a bowl to put it in, you're going to need a needle with an eye that you can thread the crochet thread, I'm going to want to call it embroidery floss crochet thread through. I did get some doll needles, so you can get a pack of doll needles on Amazon that have all different big sizes. So I often use this one, but today I'm just using the smaller one, I think. The giant one you don't need for this, but for ruffling it is good. So as long as I need to use a needle threader, it works fine to thread through here. So you're going to need the needle threader probably, the crochet thread, and your piece. And I use some washi tape. I used to pin it a little bit here all over with those little, pins like they do when they pin to finish, and then pull the pins out once I was lacing it. But sometimes it's hard to get the pins out, and this just works really well. So, and you'll just need some scissors, and I think that's about it. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm gonna first thread my needle. And this is that RBG quote. I stitched it a long time ago, and my husband made a frame for it, so I'm gonna hopefully get that frame now. All right, there we go. So we don't need to cut it, yay. So have your tail, no, not too long, so it gets stuck in there. So there we go, thread it. Okay, so now I'm gonna kind of line this up and just make sure I like how it is, which I did this before, so it's pretty much there. Okay, so flip it over. And I'm just going to use teeny pieces of washi tape and just washi tape it where I think I want it. And by the way, if you, let's say you were trying to be very thrifty with your linen and you cut it really small and you only have a little bit coming over, he had shown in the video you can sew pieces of cotton to your stitch piece and then lace with those to add more material. And I've done it a couple times like that, and it works totally fine. And what's nice about it is, when you pull on this linen, it does really pull because of the holes in it. But when you sew on cotton and then lace with that, it seems a little more secure. But I've done it both ways, and it's fine. Okay, so I've got that. All right, so I already can see that I want it up a little higher. So you can pull this up and just reposition, which is nice. Up a little bit. Oh, and this is foam core board, which I don't really like using for this, but I had already gotten it ready before I knew better. And then batting on it. Now I use matte board or sticky board. It's a little thinner, it's not as thick, so I like that better. Let's see how, the matte board is not as thick as the foam core. And it's not crunchy. Okay. Oh, now that's down too far. All right, so let's do this. I'm going to line it up. Okay, so there it is top to bottom, pretty good. This is old weeks and it is a really loose weeks. So even when I was stitching it, I was having problems because it just kind of goes, it pulls all over the place. So this one is not going to be super perfect. All right, and as I'm lacing, I can always move it too, but that's pretty good. There you go. Okay, so we've got our threaded needle. So I'm going to pull, let me get in here where you can see this. I'm going to pull out a fair amount, but just as much as you think you can handle. I don't want to get too much because then it just is harder to handle. And that's what I love about this is you can always stop and then pull some more to work with. So I'm going to start, and these have a lot on the edge here. Don't worry about the corners. They seem kind of ungainly and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with these corners? But they come together fine. So I go about 1/4 inch from the edges and just pull. It doesn't really knot, but it does kind of bunch up if you go too fast. But I'll just pull it and done. Okay, so there we go. So now I'll make sure my thread is kind of on this side and I'll be going in on this side. And I go about 1/4 to 1/2 inch away, whatever you think you need. Pulling. And I feel like I can get a little closer on this side because it has the edge already finished. It's a little stronger, I think. So we're just going to keep lacing. So now I'm good, so I'm going to take these off. Okay, so you can see I'm running out. I'm going to need more thread now. So I'm going to pull a bunch. All right there. And then I'm going to go with my, so you'll see there's a top thread and a bottom thread. Top thread, bottom thread. Let me get closer so you can maybe see that. So top thread, bottom thread, top thread, bottom thread. I'm going to pull the top thread and it will pull it in. So I'm going to take this one and pull. Just try to unbunch all this. Like I said, what I love about this is it really doesn't knot. It just kind of bunches up. So I pull, so as you see I can pull till that's taut. So I pulled that side. I'm going to move it over here. And now I'm going to pull the next top one. Right. Back over here. No Hazel. My dog's standing here bugging me. She wants a treat. Go lay down. Just keep going along and pulling the top thread to get back to where you're lacing. Get back to where your needle is. And if you can kind of hold this down. Okay, so there we are. Then I'll just take the thread with my needle on it and pull. Like so. Okay, and then I'm going to keep lacing. I love how it doesn't knot like regular thread does. And I am pulling, but I'm not pulling like crazy tight because we'll go through and tighten it at the end. Okay, so we're getting just about to where we're done with this side. Do one more. Okay, so there we go with that. Now I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to turn it over and, you know, just make sure I like it and everything looks good. So it is a little wonky. Like I said, this one is so stretchy, this fabric. So he showed you just kind of push with your fingers up and get it where you want it. He also used, I can't actually remember what he used. He used some kind of gloves. I want to say clean gardening gloves he used. But, you know, if you machine quilt, those machine quilting gloves have the rubbery things on them. So I wouldn't need it for this because this is very stretchy and moves really easy. But for some fabrics, you can just push with those machine quilting gloves and it really helps get everything where you want it to be. So if you're having trouble, that's a thing to try. Now I'm already noticing that I would like it over this way a little bit more. So I'm going to just go ahead and do that. Pull it a little bit. And I think this is I've had to pull with this one more than I ever have to pull with them, of course, just because of the stretchiness. All right, that's pretty good. I'm not expecting this one to be perfect because of how stretchy it is. Okay, so this is how it was. So the first thing I do is the side you ended on, I'm going to put a knot right here and kind of pull, you know, kind of taut. So there we go, and I'm going to put my needle right through a loop there and just pull and make a knot. And then I'll make one more. I find that two's enough. I mean, if you want to make more, you can. Okay, and it doesn't matter if you've tightened it up a lot there because we're going to tighten on this end. So you're going to just trim that. Okay, so now we're going to cut this side and rethread our needle with it so that we can tighten this side. And you can also, you know, turn it over and check here once you cut it away from the skein if you like. I don't know what you call this. When they're that big, do you call them a skein? I don't know. I just keep this needle threader right in here so I never lose it. Okay, so now I'm going to turn this and I'm going to tighten. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go back to these top threads and I'm just going to pull and I'm going to kind of hold here. You can see and make that nice and tight. It's just kind of like tightening shoelaces. So you can see how much I'm able to tighten it or, you know, pull it. So I'm just pulling those top threads. Okay, so now I'll tighten that up and I'm going to knot that side. You don't want to pull so tight, you know, you pull a hole through it, but you just want to pull it nice and taut and you'll make another knot or two. Okay, got that. And this is waste, I mean, unless you have another use for it. Alright, so let's turn it over, oops, turn it over and check and see how it looks. And once again, you can still manipulate it here. That's what I love about the lacing, is you're not, you know, you didn't stick it down and now if it's not even, there's nothing you can do about it. You can always fix it. And it works really nicely. Okay, so there's that side laced. Now I'm going to do this side. Okay, so obviously that already came up. If you're that happens. You can just leave your washi tape on this one. I forgot and left it. Obviously it doesn't matter because nobody's gonna see it. Let me pull that off. Let me pull this piece off. Okay. So now you have these floppy ends coming out. That's okay because you're gonna lace this side and pull it in. I got a little, that got pulled in there. So you do want to be careful of that. I pulled the back in, which I have never done before, but now I did. But I think it'll be okay. It should look like this, be totally free, so that you can pull up all these sides. So let's see how this works. All right. So we're going to thread our needle again. Bunch out. Okay. All right, so I'm going to start right at the edge here. Pull all this through. If it gets knotted, just, not knotted, but bunched up, just unbunch it. And then I'll go right to the edge of this side, getting both pieces now. So you know, this and this. I was trying to avoid that on the last way so that I didn't do that. Now I will definitely need more thread, but let's do a few passes here and we'll see. Yeah, you know what, I'm gonna get more now because I'm gonna need it. Okay, so remember we just pull the top thread. There we go, you see that's top, so I'll lay this over here. Pull this top thread. Oops. Carefully. So see, I'm just pulling till this gets tight. There we go. Okay, so you have all this extra over here. So now we'll go back to our needle. All right, pull that. Okay. By the way, if you hear what sounds like water leaking or dripping or whatever, I have a giant fish tank in the other room, and I had someone mention it on my last video, and I never thought about it before, but that's probably what you're hearing. I closed the door this time to my sewing room so that hopefully it wouldn't be as noticeable. Of course, there I got a knot, which I have never gotten a knot before. So you see, sometimes that happens. There we go. If you put your, which you probably know this, but your needle in the loop part and pull on this part, usually undoes the knot. I literally have never gotten knots before, and today I'm getting at least two. I'm gonna have to go slower. And this one is really stuck. Let's see here. All right, so I'm sure if I worked it that longer, I could get it out, but let's see what happens if I don't. Will it pull through? There we go, put that over there. Yep. So I just pulled it through. But it's better if you can get it out. Let me see here. Usually that works. There we go. All right, so we're coming up on this part that I had caught. So let's see how that works. All right, so I'm just gonna go like right in there. Let's see, I just got right underneath the part that was caught, and I'm just gonna pull. Yep, that's gonna work fine. I think I'm gonna need more thread. Yep, I'm gonna need more thread. So, pull out some more. Don't think I'm gonna need a lot more. Go ahead and pull it. Please don't think this knots a lot. It does not. It's just because I'm on camera. It usually does not knot at all. Okay, so there's all my extra. Pull it through. Okay, there we go. I'm going to rethread my needle. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to just go through that part that kind of got messed up. Like it's not. I'm going to just kind of ignore it, and it seems to be working fine. Now, if you had a tighter weave fabric and like you knotted it and you couldn't get, like I'm pulling the knot right through, you couldn't get it through, you know, you can knot off and start again. All right, I think that's good. Okay, so you can see here's where I started. This side, here's where I'm going to knot off. So I'm not even going to check this side. I'm just going to knot it off, and then I'll check before I tighten the other side. So once again, go in, make a little, you know, put your thread through that loop and make your knot. Once and twice. So there, I made that little knot. Now I'm going to turn and do this side. So remember, we cut off the length of this to thread. You don't really need a lot. Just enough to thread because you're going to pull here. So here's where we're going to tighten, remember. So I'm going to turn it, so this is on this side, and I'm going to just kind of lay that out there. Before I even thread it, I'm going to do this. And we're just going to pull those top threads, make sure they're all tightened. And then I will check my placement after this. But even once you knot it, you can still maneuver it a little bit. So you see how much kind of slack, that's the word I was looking for, slack I'm getting there. So now I'll take this, pull, and now I'm going to kind of look over at this side and see what I think. I think that's pretty good. I'm amazed at how well this works out. Like I said, this is really stretchy linen. It's going to be less perfect than most things. But you can still kind of slide it up. Okay, I'm good with that. I think that's as good as I'm getting it. All right, so now I'm going to thread and knot this side. Pull again a little bit. Put it through the loop. Kind of hold it there. Pull real tight. And there we go. Trim that off and you are done. So there's all the lacing. And notice how the sides came in real good. So you may frame this. So, you know, obviously you'll just tuck those sides in if they are peeking out a little. Or if you're putting this on a, you know, a board to finish it on a home decor item, you just make sure those are tucked in. Here's the front. Like I said, not totally perfect, but with this really super stretchy linen, it's the best I'm getting. So you can still move it a little bit if you want to. But yeah, that's it. So now you can either put it in your frame or you can finish it on your home decor piece and you're good to go. Okay, so instead of hot gluing this down, if I'm going to finish it as a home decor piece and not in a frame, I used this stitchery tape. I think it's from Yarn Tree. I believe it was. It doesn't say that on here. Oh yeah, it does, on the back. So that's what I use, and it's just double-sided tape. Now it gives directions for this kind of a pull around. I honestly still don't know what they're talking about. It says apply the stitchery tape to the front edge of the mounting board so that only 1/8 inches of the tape is attached to the front. Wrap the tape around the mounting board. So, and it makes a J. I'm still new to this. So anyway, you may understand that, but all I did was I just pulled a piece off, stuck it down here, stuck it down here. I really kind of embossed it. So I'm going to frame this, so I'm not going to do it, but I would pull a piece off like this, and I would stick it down, another piece off, stick it down. And then since it's double-sided tape, with double-sided tape, it's good to like rub it to make sure you can pull the top layer off. So I would rub it really good, kind of emboss it, and then the top layer comes off easier and you can pull it, and then I just stuck it down. Let's see. Yeah, it says it allows repositioning and it's acid and solvent free. Safe to use on all types of fabric. So I do that on a home decor piece instead of hot gluing. Now, if I'm just doing fabric, like I'll show in my, like you probably just saw in my last floss tube, my calendar crates for October that I finished, I hot glued the fabric pieces together. And I hot glued the whole backs and all that with those. But with the needlework pieces are the only ones that I lace, and then I use this stitchery tape on to adhere them to whatever they're going on. Or I just frame it. So I hope that was helpful. Yeah, I really love it. I love this way of doing it. I think it's pretty easy. And then we got that one, which I'm going to finish on, which you probably already saw. I'm going to finish on a wood piece my husband cut out. So I'm actually filming this before I do my floss tube with the pumpkin giveaway, but you're going to see it after. So anyway, have a happy Halloween, everybody. Bye.